We've had a crazy week in crypto, but the prices always fluctuate, and in the end, Bitcoin will always go only up. Either way, there's a lot of you who are fans of this series, the $10 to $1,000 challenge that I do on Binance Futures, and I've been AFK a lot, so I haven't really placed in any trades, while I will take opportunity of the volatile markets throughout this week. For today, I want to show you the 10 things I wish I knew when I started trading on Binance. Now obviously this is 10 things just for futures trading, so this doesn't include spot trading, which is a totally different thing, and I can make a separate video just for that if that's something you're interested in. But with all that being said, if you want to see this beautiful avatar in your subscription box every single day, don't forget to subscribe, smack the like button in the face, and let's roll the video. Number one, if you don't know what you're doing, it's worse than gambling. So there's this common thing that a lot of people compare gambling to futures trading in crypto. Now you can compare the two, whereas you put in a random trade, you might get money, you might lose money, but if you do the same that you would do in gambling, you will definitely lose money in the end. Because if you don't know what you're doing, then you don't know when you're putting your trades in, you don't know what the bottom is, you don't know what the top is. And let me say it like this, you have to do technical analysis if you want to do futures trading. You can't just put in a trade just because it looks like it might pump. That's one of the worst mistakes people made when they start futures trading. Which brings me to point number two, the odds are against you. So in gambling, most of the time, the odds might be 50-50. In futures trading, the odds are definitely not 50-50. They're so against you that if you don't know what you're doing, it's worse than gambling. And that's why the first two parts of this kind of go hand in hand. It is worse than gambling, and the odds are definitely against you. Which brings me to point number three. Technical analysis can only get you so far. So yes, technical analysis is very important, and you need to draw all the lines on the charts. You need to look for bullish divergences, for bearish divergences. You need to have all your indicators and everything. It's very important to do all the technical analysis you can do to figure out where the price might go in the future. But really what technical analysis is predicting where it will go if it bumps and where it will fall if it dumps. It doesn't really tell you whether it's gonna go up or down. You use kind of all kinds of different things to really figure that one out. But technical analysis only goes so far. Which brings me to point number four. Patience is key. You need to be patient and not just put in a trade because you've not put in a trade in a long time. That's a mistake I did many times, and you need to be patient and look for the perfect entry. If your entry is good and say you enter a trade near the bottom, then that's perfect. That shows that you've been patient, you've been looking at the chart, you've been waiting for your perfect time to enter in a trade. You haven't just entered a trade just for the sake of entering a trade, but you've been actually patient. So that's why I say patience is key when trading. Now, all the waiting around can really bring about a lot of stress, especially if you are already in a trade and then you're just waiting around for the price to eventually go up, or it might not go up, it might tank, but you already entered the trade. And that really brings me to my next point, which is point number five. Sometimes futures trading is very stressful. And look, most of the time it's really stressful in the beginning. As you get more used to it, as you really know that you will lose trades, you will win trades, both of the things will happen. You'll always lose trades. Don't get me wrong, it's terrible, it sucks, it really sucks losing trades, but you will lose trades. Remember this, it'll happen at some point, it'll definitely happen. So just having that in mind brings about the stress of when you're in a trade and it didn't start going anywhere, just going sideways, the price is going sideways, and you're really waiting for that pump or for the inevitable dump, whichever trade you put in, a long or a short. But the waiting around, the being patient part, can be pretty stressful, I'm not gonna lie. I've been stressed out a couple times, especially when I've been in a trade for a whole day, or sometimes I've been in trades for 2 days, and yeah, the stress gets to you. I wake up in the middle of the night, oh, what's happening? Am I liquidated? I'm not. Good. Yeah, that stuff really happens and it sucks. Now, point number 7, trading fees. And I will put a link in the description for the website I'm looking at right now. Well, this is Binance, but like the part of Binance that I'm looking at right now, which is the calculation for the fees calculator. And this is really important if you really want to start with low amount of money. For example, if you're trading with just 10 bucks, as I have in my series 10 from 1000, then it's really important to really know what your fees are. And with this website, you can calculate what your fees will will be depending on what kind of trade you put in. And also an important thing to know about Binance is if you pay the trading fees with BNB instead of USDT, you have a 10% reduction in fees, which is pretty damn cool. So as I said, I'll put a link for this in the description down below, and you can check it out for yourself. And kind of if you're trading with lower amounts of money, you really should be looking at the fees and kind of knowing where you stand with the fees, because you don't want to pay half your earnings on just fees. And now the fees are not high, but as I said, if you're trading with like $10, if you're trading with $10 and you have received $2 from a trade and then you pay $1 in fees, you kind of lose half your profit. I know with the low numbers it doesn't sound as impressive, but it's just something to keep your mind on. And that brings me to point number 8. The wins can be astronomical. Obviously, using leverage is very risky, and you already know that because I said so many times, you can lose so much. It's worse than gambling if you don't know what you're doing. The odds are against you. All that is very true. Now, why would anyone do futures trading at all if it's so freaking risky and you can lose everything? Well, because the wins can be astronomical, and it's totally insane how big the wins can be. So here, I'm going to give you a very basic example here of using 60 leverage, which is something I don't recommend for new users at all. But if you're an experienced trader, obviously you've already used 60 leverage, so I don't even have to talk to you about this, if you're experienced, Now let's say I entered a long trade for Ethereum with $1,000. So I'm gonna just use 1,000 as an example here, and I'll also try it with various different sizes, so just to see how much money you would make. So right now my entry price would be, so let's see, what is the current entry price for Ethereum? We are at 3,576. 3,576. We said 1,000 Ethereum in USDT. Obviously, I'm going to put in 60 leverage, which is something, as I said, I don't recommend doing it at all, because you can get liquidated easily, and I will talk more about liquidation in just a second. And then let's say Ethereum gets to $4,000, and that's a sick long trade. Okay, this is something you don't get every day, but let's actually do something more realistic, which would be 3,750, for example. This is a long trade that you can probably scalp most of the time. And if I calculate this now, it calculates as if I put in $16, because if you put in $16 with 60 leverage, it's as if you have put in $1,000. So now I'm gonna go with what's gonna happen if you put in $1,000 and then use 60 leverage. So with $16 you would get 48. What about 1,000? So if you put in $1,000, you would make $3,000 profit for just this long trade on 60x leverage, and it looks at this as if you have put in $60,000. So let's say the price goes to 4,000. Then with 1,000, you would have made $7,000, and that's a jump of 700%. For an actual jump of, let's actually see, so that's a jump of 11.5%, but if you use 60 leverage, you would get a lot more. You would get 700%, so that's insane. So as I said, yeah, wins can be freaking astronomical. It's really not fair how big the wins are, but that's why you also have all the risk, and that's why you have liquidation and all that. Wait, I just noticed I skipped point number 6, which is getting liquidated sucks. Yeah, as you can see here, I have all the points already kind of written out, but for some reason I skipped number 6. So what exactly does getting liquidated mean? Well, you're just seeing an example of how much you can make. But if it goes the opposite way of what you're trading, that's how much you lose. So for a decrease of 11% on 60 leverage, while you're in a long trade, you would be minus 700%. And if you don't have enough money on your wallet to back up that loss, you will lose everything that you have, and that's getting liquidated. That means getting liquidated. And liquidation, yeah, such a strong word, such a mean and nasty word. And whenever I'm in a trade and I get liquidated and I get the message from Binance, it has a special kind of ringtone that when you get that notification, it's either you've been liquidated or your trade has hit the take profit part where it automatically takes profit. So yeah, getting liquidated freaking sucks. I don't recommend it. Anyway, point number 9, getting 9 wins and 1 loss can still suck. I'm the living proof of that. I had so many big wins, and then with just one loss, I get liquidated and I lose everything, and that just freaking sucks. And I wanted to bring that up at point number 9 because point number 10 kind of works on that and fixes that problem, which is use a stop loss. Just use a stop loss. A stop loss is when the price drops a certain percentage, it just takes the L. You just take the L, you take the loss, and you live to trade another day, you know? Because if I had a stop loss, I would have lost money, yes, but I would never have been liquidated in the first place. So please use stop losses, and here's a good tactic that I use from time to time. If it goes up 5%, you take the win. If it goes down 5%, you take the stop loss. So there's many ways you can do it. You can also go with 10%, and when it drops 3%, you can take the loss. So it really depends on how much money you're working with, how much you're willing to lose, and you know, you're really gonna make your own decision about how you want to go about it, really. And here are some of my final thoughts. Trading futures for me personally has been the most fun I've had in crypto ever. Like, it's one of the most fun things I've done. And I've done most of the things. I've done yield farming, I've flipped NFTs, I've created NFTs, I bought and sold shitcoins, I did spot trading, I've been a hodler for a while, I've done most of the things that you can do right now. I played all the NFT games, but trading futures is so much fun, man. It just brings out the adrenaline and the whole stress of it and everything. It's just super fun. It's amazing. And that might be also one of the gambling things it has in it. Gambling is fun, after all. Otherwise, why would people do it? Now, I'm not a gambler. I've never been a gambler in my life. I hate gambling with all my heart. I think it should be illegal to gamble. But trading futures is amazing because if you put in the work, you can actually be profitable most of the time. And I only get liquidated, and it only triggers my stop loss when I want to put in a trade when I don't have to, right? I'm not patient, and whenever I stick to this list, I have good trades, man. So yeah, I just wanted to share these 10 facts with you. The next part of the 10 to 1000 series will continue this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it will continue this week. Hopefully, I can manage to pull out some time to actually do some futures trading because I've been missing it a lot, man. So yeah, with all that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll check you next time. Peace.